Hello everyone and welcome to Nerds with Dice. Tonight we are playing Millennium Knights Chrono Mask. We have been gone a while and we are finally back. So real quick, we got a few things to go over with you. We have merch and you can check it out by using the link in chat or heading over to Nerds with Dice on Twitter, and there is a link that can be found in the bio over there. And we are sponsored by Grinding Coffee Company. They are a Black and LGBTQ plus owned coffee company dedicated to the gaming community, and you can get 10% off by using the code NerdsWithDice or using the link that is in the chat. Thank you so much for that. Quick recap, since it has been quite some time since we've played. I will do my best to try to remember what has happened. So last episode, they found themselves in an odd predicament as they were on another planet, working with Morgan. Turned out it was an illusion meant to help Morgan break the second to last seal, keeping another villain that will be the big bad for the next Millennium Knights campaign bound, and Morgan was able to escape, but may have met an untimely fate there, as we learned more about Morgan and exactly who had put the curse on Zardath. And we know that Liz was chasing the team around the whole time. I suddenly can't remember who the Red Ranger is. What's his name? Does anybody remember?
Oh, shoot.
Finn was also there. Liz had been trying to break the illusion the whole time so they could escape. Other than that, they have been fighting against Cybrax and Cybrax's minions, and the episode before that, they had actually fought Cybrax on a distant planet and managed to crack Cybrax's mask before repelling and the machine forces and their machine will that was turning the planet with the help of another Millennium Knight, a young Millennium Knight. That kind of, that sums up the last two episodes somewhat, from what I can remember. If anybody wants to add anything, please do.
There is something. What was Reverie Star's character's name again?
Hold up. I have it somewhere, I think. Ashley.
Ashley, that's right. Well, I just would like to also include that Ashley was actually instrumental in the episode before last, and it looked like she may have had the opportunity to join, but gave it up in order to save that planet. And that's a powerful thing that we shouldn't just discount.
Thank you for reminding me of that. All right. Gonna go around, have everybody reintroduce their characters and themselves real quick, starting with Liz.
Hey, I am Lauren. I'm playing Liz, the Yellow Ranger, and I think that's it. It's been a while. Forgot how to do introductions. Sorry.
That's more than enough. Isla.
Hey, I'm Crimson. My pronouns are they, them, she, and they. I'm going to be playing Isla Echo. Her pronouns are she and they. And I'm the Silver Knight. So, yeah.
And Princess Requiem.
Hello, I am Iris or Bear. My pronouns are she and they. I am playing the Gold Ranger, who goes by Princess Requiem and uses she, her. Her hair is drills. She is very non-suspect all of the time.
Okay. And your bake is in a mall. And in that mall, they have painted over the old mural that was in the food court, and someone has started working on another one. And currently, all you see now is the line art of that mural. Are you at the mall? Are you working? Are you hanging out? Are you somewhere else? Are you with Hope?
That's a good question. How did we end the last session again?
The last session, I believe, just ended with us getting back to base and then Morgan disappearing.
All right, but that's that is pretty normal for her though. Like that fits what we've seen of her before.
Yes, it does. We have no reason to believe anything out of the ordinary happened. I think if there is art being done, let me say that I'm standing in front of the finished mural looking at it, and I want to know what it is.
So from the line art, you can tell that it seems to be an homage to some of the recent Power Rangers, or not Power Rangers, Millennium Knights teams that have save the world. So mainly it's the original Millennium Knights and the Turbo Jungle Knights. There's a couple others that are well known that are on there, but you can also see in the background of the mural someone has added the three of you.
Oh,
That's nice.
Unfortunately for y'all, you aren't as well known in your own city because you're time hopping all the time, but somebody knows you exist and they added you to the mural in the back. You can see your...
Yeah. Somebody's on the message boards doing the research for their mural. Yeah.
Okay. I think I don't know how Isla is looking at this. I think Princess Requiem is probably there with a little impractically small beret and looking at these looking over this for clues that someone may have left us, because we have occasionally contacted artists that you know, would leave things for us here. Like she's like checking how fresh the paint is, and like if there are any, if like looking over a database of previous nights to see if there's anyone here who's either doing something out of the ordinary or whatever.
As far as you see, currently, because again, like this isn't. It's not currently finished. It's just the line art, but it doesn't like. So you can make out like the shapes of the helmets and stuff, so you can tell different knights by that. But other than that, you can't tell if they're doing anything unusual. Who exactly is who? You know. Oh, those look like our 3 uniforms, so we think that's us, but you don't know which one's going to be who yet until they color it in. So nobody seems out of ordinary precisely, but there's about, I don't know, 10 Millennium Knights in the mural.
What would we know what colors were a part of each of the teams, considering we are knights?
You could figure that. You could find that out. Yes.
All right. I would like to make a note of all of the. If it's just line art, we don't have the colors there. I would like to make a note of all of the similar uniforms, how many people are in each of the groups, and then once this is finished, I would like to see if anyone is missing, but we won't know that right now.
Okay.
I should note, like, as a player, I think this is probably just like a nice gesture, but
yeah, I'm pretty sure.
My character would definitely like.
No, my character.
Liz is just straight up admiring it, like, oh, look how cool it's gonna look.
Yeah. And my character's just really interested in the history and wants to see the detail of the painting and wants to see if there are any forgotten knights.
There are 3 different types of people.
Yeah, well, we're representing every gender. No. Art, history, and suspicion.
And that is a fair enough reaction.
Yeah.
I want to say it's been at least a couple of days, if not a week or so, since our last episode, your last appearance on the channel. Anyways, what have y'all been doing in that time?
I think I've been talking to Hope and actually trying to learn a bit more about some of the other teams.
I think I've been doing mental exercises so I can't be taken out of my reality against my will. Like training mentally so something like that wouldn't happen again.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Let's see. I think Princess Requiem has been going over has spent quite a bit of time just in her private chambers, like going over whatever longer term like basically Excel sheets of like time travel schemes she has going on, like with who, especially because this mural has been showing up with like who is supposed to be contacting her when and whether or not she can like actually trust him to do so after that gaffe with Morgan. And yeah.
Does Princess Requiem keep a record of her timeline?
She probably keeps a more precise record of like who she's contacted and like, you know, who is actually in the who she's sure is in the timeline right now, like post her, you know, making the big jump back. But I think she may have some projections on like how the timeline is currently looking and whether or not it's looking up or not.
Okay. Yeah, because as I say, if you're monitoring the timeline at all, you've definitely noticed changes. Small changes mostly, but there are changes, and I don't know if Princess Requiem would take that as good or not. But they're not huge. Like, you haven't reversed your timeline's fate yet, but
Right.
you know, there's different things. You know, a small battle here turned out differently. You know.
Yeah. And I feel like she's also been like Tempest the Hippogriff has been missing a lot of time because it's been on they've been on reconnaissance like in other like in what is from our perspective right now the future to see whether things have been affected down the line. That's probably part of it.
Cool. Is there anybody? Because we haven't gone into a lot of like detail, and you don't have to if you don't have to go into a whole lot of detail if you don't want to. But is there anybody like specifically that Princess Requiem's trying to save or anything that she keeps checking the timeline for?
That's a good question. Yeah, I think I think there is, or at least like part of it, and that is probably the person that she looks like.
Okay. And Isla, after seeing the mural, is there anybody specific Isla's looking to like see records of or rumors of, or is there, you know?
Well, I think what she's actually looking for is to like see if there's any like referential treatment to one member or another on the mural to see like if it's like an in memoriam to some of the members, because they are still very curious about like the whole Mara situation and what's going on there. And like I think that's what it's about, is like trying to see what the teams have lost and what we will probably have to lose still, because history repeats itself.
Okay.
I think I missed something before history repeats itself.
What I said was like looking at the art to see if any of them are like in memory, like in memory, like a memoriam to fallen knights, to see what
Hmm.
they had to give up for their struggle to be complete, because history repeats itself, and I want to look at that for our team.
Okay. Is there anything anybody looks at concerning Cybrex? Like, are you?
I imagine that's definitely one of the first things that we look into. I'm also very curious about what's going on with Finn after the whole thing ended last episode. Like, I'm very, very curious about all of that, and I feel like I would be looking it up.
I don't. It's been a while since I played. Cause if I don't know if any of you have like info gathering moves.
Um,
Oh, we have questions we can ask, but let's see. Hmm.
Yeah, I don't
Mm.
have any info gathering at all.
I mean, I have one, but I have one info gathering light turn, but it only pertains to me.
I have one, but I'm not sure if this is overreaching with it. For reveal a hidden talent or passion,
Hmm.
I think it would be interesting if Liz was really good at like collating information. So not necessarily doing the analysis, but realizing like, oh hey, this is similar to this, so somebody should look at this.
I mean, that does sound like you could
Yeah.
maybe look at one of our regular customers or something and reveal the hidden talent that they have for wall art. That would be awfully convenient, but
Yeah, that seems like. I mean, you can definitely do that. So like, what does this look like when you're going through this
So,
data?
so I think Liz is the type of person where basically it just kind of needs to sit on the back burner for a bit. But then, like, Liz will be eating lunch and she'll think, like, oh, wait, this is like that. Oh, wait, this is like that. And kind of be good at piecing things together after the fact.
Hmm.
So, yeah, if there's like a regular customer or something who was, I don't know, like drawing things on their ticket stubs and then leaving it behind or something.
I think we're also food courts, so maybe like receipts.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Maybe they've like drawn us a little like chibi on a receipt with a tip once.
Yeah, something like that. Just like one break time, Liz is there eating a sandwich and then just kind of, does the put it down, look it up, oh wow moment of putting it together.
Uh, yes. I'm gonna say yeah. You don't know their name, but
Mm-hmm.
you've seen them a few times before. They're always wearing like a snapback hat with, I don't know, a sports logo on it probably. Um, I don't I don't know. Um,
The Metro City Meter Maids.
yeah, there we go. That works. Because I could not think of anything. Because I was trying to remember the cities that I've used
I,
before in other
yeah.
games, and the problem is I am very bad at note taking, and my memory is also not very good.
I just
I
made
think
up
you'll
a
find
city
it's
name,
pronounced
not gonna
Metrosity.
lie. Yeah,
That is
Metrocity.
it is more than fine. Yeah, and they have a Meter Maid's snapback that they always wear.
Okay, so when Liz realizes this, she's gonna do that like in like comedies when somebody's trying to run and they're just like tripping all over everything. Do that to get to Isla and Princess Requiem.
Okay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Liz is gonna get there and just be like, "You guys, I just realized. Remember the customer drawing receipt? Oh God, I need to take another. Okay, I need to take a second. Okay, no, but seriously, I think I figured it out. I think the one person that comes in and they're always wearing that hat, and like one time they drew this really cute picture of a character on some show I don't watch, but it was really
Oh,
cute.
the Meteor Mates one.
Yeah. So
I like her.
yeah,
Them?
so that art style looks kind of familiar. So I'm betting it was her.
Secret artist. She like turns away from the mural and then takes out these like small rectangular glasses that you can clearly see don't have lenses in them.
Of course.
So I really hope that this was done in like a nice sense and not a, hey, this is the visual list of who we're gonna pick off kind of way, because I really like her.
I mean, there's no reason to be suspicious about a mural. Usually these are just things that are passionate people painting the things that they're passionate about.
Yes, usually.
Yeah, I can hear the like dun 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 with usually.
Yeah, that's... just don't worry about it. It'll be fine. We'll save whoever they're trying to get.
Well, I've yet to find anything suspicious about it.
Yeah, it just looks like good art to me.
Awesome. That puts it way up in my safety. Then in that case, we need to like, I don't know, give her free popcorn next time she shows up or something. Just be like, oh, hey.
I think that can be arranged.
Yeah, I mean, I give free popcorn out to everyone.
Okay, then like a bigger popcorn this time. Maybe like, I don't know, those good like flavoring powders that they make you buy at movie theaters.
I got it. I'll melt some junior mints to put over the popcorn.
As a side note, I literally did not have any idea that was a thing until like this past year.
Sorry?
Like, people melting junior mints is a legitimate thing.
What are junior mints?
They're like little chocolate-covered mint candies that are like really soft and chewy, but they taste good.
People melt those and put them over popcorn?
People melt them and then eat it by the handful. I don't know if they put it on popcorn, but I just thought it would be funny to say that. I don't know.
Yeah, something I definitely want to try at some point.
I think we've had this conversation like a few days ago in character, and we could try the mint ritual.
Mm-hmm.
Ritual sounds like a good band name.
Mint Ritual? I like it. We should start a band.
I was gonna say.
Oh dear. am quite talented at lip singing. Singing. No.
I've been around for a while. I picked up a few instruments, No big deal.
I think I could rock a tambourine.
I know how to program vocal software, but I don't really think that's hit the appropriate point yet.
I mean, why do you have to wait for it to hit the appropriate point? Haven't you ever heard the Mountain Goats? Their early work was all like recorded on a voicemail machine.
Really?
Yeah?
They were all goats.
No, they were actually humans.
Were they from the mountains?
I don't think so. Maybe. I think they were from the West Coast, so there is a mountain range over there. It's possible.
It totally counts.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the acronym? Was it greatest of all time?
No, it's literally just a band name. It's cool, though. Yes, I want the Mountain Goats to be canon in this universe.
Well, what isn't canon at any point in time is fickle.
Yeah, true.
They can be existent for one or two of our perceived weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think at this point, Hope pops into the room. What are y'all talking about?
The Mountain Goats.
It's not an acronym.
Do you mean the actual mountain goats? Or is this something else?
No, it's the name of a band.
I have heard those exist.
Yeah. I mean, most of them sing about you.
Strange.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. You are a driving force in a lot of people's lives, and I think that should be acknowledged. You're very, very important.
Oh. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, I forgot why I came into this room. Somebody is being chased through downtown by a monster.
All right, we should get on that.
We probably should.
Yeah. All right, thanks, Hope.
Any word on what kind of monster?
It appears to be a walking statue.
Huh. And you're sure it's not simply a walking statue?
A walking statue of what?
Well, it tends to be a person, sort of bronzed. Tacky attire.
Yes, exactly that.
All right.
I don't think so. They seemed sort of scared for me. Oh, and it's 15 feet tall?
Oh, interesting. We should just get out there and check it out, get our eyes on it, and see what's going on.
That seems like a good idea.
Quite. And then I think Princess Rakim snaps her fingers and, oh right, Tempest is out in reconnaissance, and just runs out.
Heck yeah. Follows.
That's all.
Do we cut out the bit where we have a jog?
Yeah, how do you travel in your own time? Like if you have a monster in your own time. I think we've maybe possibly covered this in one other episode, but I don't remember.
Well, So I'm not recognized. I would transform first using my 1 free token, and then I would ride my motorcycle.
I feel like Princess Requiem generally doesn't transform until it's dramatically appropriate. And at this moment, normally she travels on Griffinback, but since Tempest is taking a while to respond, I think she's like, oh, now is your time to shine, and then she like clicks her little heelys and just uses those.
Here, I'll toss you a rope. It's tied to the back of my bike.
A terrible idea.
We're powerful. It's fine.
So unrefined.
Who needs refinement when you've got style?
I think normally Liz just rides a bike, but to keep up, she's going to transform before they leave and follow along and kind of make sure that Princess Requiem doesn't, I don't know,
Die?
too far.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So we're driving downtown through the busy streets, weaving in and out of traffic. And as we get downtown, what do we see?
You come to a dramatic stop just as you see the girl in the meter maid's cap run down an alley. A 15-foot tall statue behind her. It turns. It's sort of near the mouth of the alley. You hear a shout. You can't really make it out because they're down the alley. And then there is a flash of I don't remember. Hold on.
Now, what color is this energy?
Amber. No, I'm just kidding.
Amber is the color of her energy. Whoa.
Ooh.
It is blue.
Oh, yeah. Huh. Well, I would like to untie the rope really quick, drive forward as fast as I can, slide my bike around the statue. That way I slide in front of it, and then if it's attacking, I would like to take the blow meant for another.
Yes.
Excellent.
That is more than possible. So, as statuesque attacks, what does it look like when you get in the way of this attack?
I would say how is it attacking? That's the first question.
Imagine it is doing its best to punch.
All right. In that case, I would literally just ride up as close to the wall as I can get, and as it's throwing the punch, I would ride my motorcycle right in front of its fist so it doesn't hit the other person, which would probably send me flying off the bike, to be fair.
Yeah, I think you sort of crash to the ground next to her. And she looks down at you and says, "What are you doing? You shouldn't have done that. I had a plan." And then
I think as she says, "I had a plan." Can I do something?
Oh yeah, go for it.
Just to perform brilliantly to an unnecessary magnitude by heeling off of a nearby building in a spiral kick and yelling dynamic entry. Like, just drill into the face of Mr. Stoneface.
Okay. Where do you want to land when you land?
Ooh, because we're in an alley, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I think so sort of ride out the most of the length of the alley behind the monster in sort of like a doing a little Mario Kart grind, and while turning around, and assessing the damage that I've hopefully just done.
I have an idea that can hopefully synergize with one of you two.
Okay, what is it?
Go
Let's
for
hear it.
Since Liz is bringing up the rear and still on the bike, Liz can whip around and kind of grab one of the other, like reach out and grab arms and like use them to like do some sort of like a whip movement to try to get them back in the fight in an unexpected direction, or from an unexpected direction.
Okay. And what does this look like?
So Liz bringing up the rear, sees the other two starting their fight, and heads for which one of y'all wants this?
Once what?
Liz to grab them and kind of swing them around and launch them into action from a different angle.
Ooh, is that what you would like? I mean, I can either do that before or after the.
Ooh, can do that before.
Yeah, we can like retcon that rooftop thing slightly, and instead make it like you like launch her up the side of one of the buildings, and she jumps off of it.
Sounds cool to me.
Yeah, let's go extra.
So yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna grab Princess's arm, and as I'm yeeting her, just gonna try to do just like a yell, just like a general, yeah, I'm feeling this, kind of.
Okay.
Yeah, I think like as you reach for for Princess Santika, she goes like, "You may." Yeah. Okay.
And I would like to take my time to then answer the question. And that will take the form of, I'm doing what I have to save everyone that I can. It's important that we don't let anyone get hurt. And if, like, how am I supposed to know that you have a plan when I'm just trying to make sure you're okay? And I would like that to potentially be impress your morality on someone who doesn't need it.
Who are you
I
trying
feel
to...
like you could be asking this of anyone right now.
The blue person.
Okay.
And what specifically are you trying to ask them?
I'm not asking them. They asked me, what are you doing?
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
I had a plan. So I just say, I was trying to save you. I didn't know you had a plan. It's my job to protect people, and I have to do it.
Okay. You know what? You say that, and she can't actually roll her eyes because she has a helmet on. But like body language, you can tell that like
shoulders
if you could see her eyes, you know, she'd be rolling them.
Just a little Mataku shrug.
Nice.
She goes, all of you are always so dramatic. And she grabs, she has, you know, like a morpher thing for transforming on her wrist as well. She spins it there's another flash of light, this time silver. She changes costume and then yells out to somebody, Goldie, now! And in which case another person springs a trap, and she takes flight with the metaphorical Millennium Knights power of hawk wings, basically.
Oh.
Oh. That's
And
cool.
the two of them slam into statuesque, driving it back into the main road.
Cool.
And this other knight is believe they... You know what? They're red.
So we have silver and blue plus red and gold?
Yeah.
And there are two people.
It's two people. One of them is a red knight, but their name is Goldie.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I'm so confused. What do you want us to do?
Do either of them seem familiar to me?
Ooh. Look. How much time have you spent like studying the historical record?
Probably a fair amount.
So I think it's possible that you know them. Like if you've been studying and stuff. Isla might also know from looking at recently looking at the records of Millennium Knights and stuff as well.
Mm-hmm.
You may also know who they are. And I think I will leave that up to your characters. If you think you know them, just say so.
Okay.
I think Liz might know of them, or at least one of them, from having been working with Hope to actually like try and learn some of the history about all this stuff that she's involved in.
Okay.
I think Isla would recognize the uniforms and the colors, but I do not think that their research has anything to do with any of the identities of any knights.
In that case, you're seeing two different uniforms here. The blue and the red uniform are from a group of Atlantean knights. I don't know what they were in a episode of the original Millennium Knights show. I do not remember what I called their team, but they were a part of that. And the silver uniform is from that Millennium Knights team, that original won the rebirth of the Millennium Knights in the modern era team?
I think Liz probably recognizes Goldie because of the idea that, wow, that must have gotten so annoying, being called one color and being another one.
Okay.
Are we sure that this one doesn't also have multiple uniforms?
Yeah, you don't know. You like, if you get close, you can see if they have the same sort of morpher. But as of right now, you don't know.
I would like to just yell out, "What do you need us to do? We're here to help."
Um. I think. You know what? The Silver Knight, she yells out, I need you in flanking positions. Make sure you surround it. Don't let it escape.
Can do. I will run out to the street, leaving my bike in the alley, and just like take up position on one side of it. Let's say that will be a regular turn. React by taking temporary cover. No, take action, leaving yourself vulnerable. No, I'll just like run out and just like stand in the street, like 10 feet away from it, 15 feet away from it, something along that lines.
Okay. What do Liz and Princess Requiem do?
I would like to return the favor to Liz by casting a spotlight on another while the stakes are high.
Ooh.
And I would like to do that by calling out to her, saying, "I believe it's your turn." And while a portal opens up behind Liz that Tempest is about to fly out of to give her a little lift should she need one.
Cool. So, Tempest, I'm gonna say, if I would this count as fail to react and ignore the important? If Tempest sweeps up and grabs Liz, it's probably reach, right? In any case, I think I'd like to display agile fighting technique.
Okay.
And as Tempest flies up, Liz is going to backflip off of Tempest and activate her brass knuckles, her glowing brass knuckles, as
Ooh.
she plummets down, kind of like Superman style.
Okay.
Yeah, the knuckle drop.
Yeah. You smack it good. You hit it with a nice punch. And as it stumbles back towards, a portal opens up behind it, and it follows through that and disappears. And at the same time, both the other knights, Goldie and the other one, because I haven't given you her name yet, but both say, "Damn it, got away again."
You been
I
tracking this one for a minute?
Yes, it keeps leaving strange machine things. In cities all up and down the coast. I don't understand what it's doing.
I was going to say something, but then I realized, no, Liz is still punching.
Okay. Well,
I would.
do you think you'll
Can-
need help wrangling it?
It can't hurt.
Can I reveal a never before seen power?
Yeah, you have a free heavy turn, I believe. So yes.
Mm-hmm. So I think like Princess Requiem like sort of comes into frame and says like, well, it's a good thing that my grace is rarely unnecessarily excessive. I took the liberty of planting a little tracking chip on that monster during the spin kick.
Oh, well, that's useful. The Silver Knight she'll take off her helmet, and I think she'll walk over to Isla first.
I'll take off my helmet as well.
Hand out and be like, I'm Amara.
Isla. Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you too, Isla.
And I think like one of the like big drill twin tails she has is just like missing a hair decoration at the moment. And then you can like whenever we next see the monster, it's like embedded in its in wherever she kicked it.
What's the deal with that morpher you got there? That looks interesting.
Yeah, it's custom. It was modified by a friend.
Oh yeah?
So
Anyone that we might know?
I don't think so. I'm not sure who you've met. Do you know of a wizard named Harlock?
Do we know of a wizard named Harla?
I know of a space captain named Harlock.
No, I don't think y'all have met Harlock yet.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that name doesn't sound familiar.
Then you haven't met his apprentice either, so I would... Yeah, who are y'all? I'm sorry, I didn't know there was a team operating here.
Well, we're the Chrono Masks. We don't technically operate here. We operate throughout time.
Oh, that makes sense.
We operate now more so than here.
Though this is our timeline here now. But we typically don't operate from here.
It's cool if you don't think about it too much. It's kind of freaky if you really start to. So just time shenanigans. We do time shenanigans.
Okay. My original mentor was a few thousand years old, so I'll just take it in stride.
I'm about 800 myself.
Oh. Interesting.
Yeah, it's weird. You see, I only ever am able to keep like 200 years of memories in my head, so everything from before that is kind of really hazy.
Huh. Interesting. Um. So y'all are from here. Well, I'm from Planetary City. Um. We I sort of joined another team after we defeated our big bad evil guy thing. Technically, his own lackey defeated him, and then we had to defeat the lackey. It was really weird. But
I mean, this job is just really weird. I kind of get it.
yeah. But then I went off with Goldie to help her team, and when I came back to Planetary City, a friend made this morpher so I could utilize both powers.
I would love to get my hands on one of those. I was a part of another team before this, too.
Oh, well, maybe we could make that happen. Y'all want to meet a wizard?
Sounds incredible. I am in.
Yeah.
I suppose I've technically never met one before.
All right. Goldie, do you got the door? Oh, yeah. And they pull out amulet and they set it on the ground, and then it turns into a wooden door, frame and all. And they open it up, and after y'all.
All right, 1 second. Pull out my communicator. Hey, can we get a pickup of the motorcycles in this alley, off of this street? Can you, like, get them back to the base for us? We're gonna take a different passage.
Does Liz's communicator now go off, and is she receiving all of these requests?
I think you'll get like an answer from Hope that says, yes, will do.
Awesome, thank you so much. And then I'll go through the door. Why not?
Okay. Does everybody follow?
I suppose, yeah. I'll like, I guess, take Liz by the arm for a moment and ask if she's been in wizard times.
I haven't, but it sounds so cool.
I've read about them. They're rarely portrayed flatteringly.
Yeah, but magic's cool.
Exactly, which may be an instrumental part in why wizards are supposedly dicks. Well,
Yeah,
I suppose we'll see if that's true.
Well, if he's a dick, we can just hit him.
Good point.
Can we say I overheard this a little bit?
Sure, right before you walk through the door.
All right, turn back. I don't think wizards are necessarily bad. It's like a person by person basis, just like anyone else. And then I walk through the door.
And I turn and look at Princess Requiem and say, yeah, but if he's a dick, we can still hit him. And then I'll step through.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When you walk through the door, you walk into like a picturesque fantasy landscape, forest and rolling green fields, and there is a small castle-like building off to your right. There are fences for animal pens, uh, directly in front of you, there is a. Hold on, I gotta look something up. I'm trying to remember old quote unquote lore. Let me see. Uh, um. Sorry, this is taking longer than I wanted it to.
I mean, we are over an hour in. If you need to, you could call a break here.
Wait, I got it. Okay.
Okay.
It is. I found it. So, in the field, being led along almost by like a long rope tendril is a giant snake mech being led through the field. You can see other mechs in the distance, but you can't make out what they are.
Oh.
Leading the mech by the rope. First you see the cowboy hat pop up over a little hill, and then you see about 6'5" in height, so not super high, but about 6'5" is a T-Rex leading this mech through the fields, wearing
T-Rex in a cowboy hat.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's known as a T-Rex Max.
But
you know, he's from Texas.
Awesome.
Oh my god. Okay. Hey, Amara, what's that?
Oh, are you talking about the mech or Tex Rex?
The the Tex-Rex, I guess.
Oh,
That is the natural name for it.
Tex Rex is he's sort of a friend. He's a caretaker around here. Takes care of the mechs and
like
stuff.
What is the deal with this place? There's mechs everywhere.
Well, most of these mechs are here because they're loyal to Harlock and the knights that he keeps in his employ and stuff. So Tex Rex, keeps them the reps. The otherwise, we're technically in an alternate dimension. It's actually quite big. There's creatures and stuff, but as long as you stay near the castle, you don't have to worry about them. They usually leave us alone on the account of the giant mechs.
I mean, judging by the giant mechs in the distance, this is far larger than any national park I've ever seen.
I've never met a team of mechs who are all locally sourced.
So I have a question. Is Tex-Mex the traditional looking T-Rex or the scientifically accurate looking T-Rex?
More of a Jurassic Park looking T-Rex.
Okay.
Okay. So no feathers. Damn.
Yeah.
All right. Well, where are we going? This
Oh,
is beautiful.
through here. And we'll lead you to the castle and in through the main gate door. Which opens into a large chamber, which is full of books and alchemy equipment and other potentially magic items. In the center of the room, holding a very large tome that looks far too big for him to be carrying, is an old man. And he is speaking words that he's reading from this tome, and over a large wooden table, he is levitating a young man.
Anyone I recognize?
No. It is Harlock's assistant whose name escapes me now because it's been like 3 years since this happened, or since they were since I played any games with them in it.
Yeah.
But he's being levitated over this table by Harlock. Which is, I almost forgot, which is a very large round table piled high with more random books and artifacts and stuff.
Could you say it's almost a nightly table?
Almost.
I don't want to interrupt, so I'm just gonna stand back and watch. Like, I don't know what's going on. I don't want to accidentally cause any harm to the person who's floating. So I'm just gonna stay back until they address us.
Amara clears her throat. And when Harlock doesn't look up, goes, Harlock, we have guests. And he looks up and goes, oh, that's wonderful. I'm in the middle of something. One moment. Never mind, I forgot my place. And he slams the book shut, and the assistant falls onto the table. A few books fall off of the table, and Harlock goes, must you be so clumsy? You've made a mess. Who are your guests? Please introduce yourselves.
I think, like, when he slams the book shut, Princess Rookin just momentarily winces because she's viscerally noticing him not using a page marker.
Yeah. Okay. I am the Great Wizard Harlock, and I'm assuming y'all are Millennium Knights of some sort or another.
Yeah, you could say that. Why are you blaming your assistant for your mistake?
My mistake.
Yeah.
What do you
Yeah,
mean?
dude.
You kept the table so crowded, and then when you slammed the book shut, you didn't give them any warning. Then they fell onto the table, and that knocked some books off.
Wait,
That's your mistake.
They were still levitating.
Yeah.
Oh. I had forgotten I was doing that. My apologies.
Okay. Well, hey, I'm Isla.
Uh, nice to meet you, Isla. Is there a reason y'all have you come to ask questions, or are you here for another reason?
This is a good question. We were brought here by your associates.
Ah.
Employees? Knights.
Which team are you now?
Did we ever name ourselves? Chrono Mask?
Yeah, we're the Chrono Masks.
Is that diegetic?
Oh, I know who you are. I think I have something for you. Just give me one moment to find it. I think I left it on the table. And that's where we're going to go to break.
All right.
Woo!
All right, everybody. We'll be back in 10 to 15 minutes with more Millennium Knights Chrono Mask. And see you in a little bit. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to more Millennium Knights Chrono Mask. We left our group with Harlock declaring that he thought he had something for this group. He is currently rifling through stacks and stacks of books on a table. He pulls out a thin hardcover book, holds it up, and then declares, "Aha! I found it!" And he holds the book in your direction, in the group's direction.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Princess Regan will step forward and take it and see if she, have a look and see if she can make anything of it.
The book is a children's
thank
story.
you. This is. I see.
About a dragon that protects an ancient tree. And at the end of the story, as you flip through the book, to save the dragon and the tree from harm, a loyal knight turns it into a bunch of crystals. And then at the very back of the book is to be continued.
I see. Partially.
Over your shoulder. Huh. That's interesting. Are you saying that this is the origin of the powers of the Millennium Knights?
No. The dragon protects the powers, or the origin of the powers of the Millennium Knights.
Why are you showing this to us now?
Because you're here now.
Okay. Hey, those cool morphers. I used to be a different color. Is it possible to get one of those?
The assistant stands up and, do you have your original power source? Coin, gem, whatever it is?
I think that would be up to you. Would I still have that?
What did we decide the origin of you leaving the team to join the Chrono Masks was?
I don't think that we had a canon reason for it yet. Just we decided that I did leave to join, but I don't think we gave a reason.
Okay. In which case, I would say, yeah, you could still have it.
Yeah, I mean, I keep it around my neck.
I would need time to build it, but yeah, I can make another one.
You have one too, right, PR?
Excuse me. I have a what?
You still have your old crystal, don't you?
My old crystal?
Yeah, you said that you used to be orange.
I don't think I've ever told you that in character.
Oh, I thought that was in character that you brought that up.
No.
My bad. All right, never mind. Do either of you have one of these that you could also potentially get added?
No, I'm afraid not.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I would love to get that. How much time are you talking about? Because we did promise the Amara and Goldie that we were gonna help them with what they're currently working on. And I think I'll need my crystal for that.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's going to be a while to build it. You can keep your crystals on you. I just, needed to know that you had both power sources. Otherwise, building it would sort of be pointless. Because you need both of them to be able to operate it. But I don't
Okay.
need the actual crystals here while I build it. They can be inserted after.
Okay. Yeah, that would be really useful. Would you want anything in return for that?
No.
Cool. Cool. Uh, I'm sorry, I've never met a wizard before. I'm kind of nervous. I don't really know what to say to you.
Oh, that's okay. Um,
Hey,
well,
so if you're a wizard, like, how old are you?
me? Oh,
Yeah, just out of curiosity. Like, you hear about old wizards, you never hear about, like, oh, here's a wizard who's, I don't know, 35.
oh, he points at his assistant. Oh, he's only, what, 29? Me, I'm a few thousand years old, though.
Oh, hey, nice to meet you, wizard in training. I think I forgot to introduce myself. My name's Liz. Hi.
Well, nice to meet you as well, Liz.
You know, I might be the closest person to your age that you've met in a while.
How old are you?
I'm like 800, 800 plus, something like that. It's hard to remember exactly the date because after a while, everything earlier gets really foggy.
Interesting. And do you mind me asking how you've lived so long?
Uh, as far as I can tell, it's the power of these crystals. I've been uh I've been around since uh like the 1200s as a knight.
For reference, our calendars at our current anchor point in time are around the 2000s, give or take.
Huh. Interesting. I do not remember you. I'm sorry, but I feel like if you were that old, maybe we have met before. But I have met a lot of Millennium Knights.
Yeah.
So you are saying that the immortality is not usually part of the deal? Let's say I've never really
Not as
stuck around
far
the
as
group for
I
long
know.
enough to notice.
I haven't noticed. I did not get my immortality from the gems. So, no, not as far as I've noticed.
I heard tell of a indigenous Cro-Magnum that was alive last I knew that was also a knight.
I don't know anything about that. I do know that there are potentially ones that are Millennium Knights that are far older than myself, out beyond our planet. But as far as I personally know, and I will admit for once that I do not know everything. The Millennium Knights power first came here around the time of King Arthur. It could have been here before that, but as far as I know, any record that I've ever seen or been a part of, it was then.
Huh.
Now, what you've given us is some lovely reference material for our origins, but you wouldn't happen to have anything on cursed armor, would you? Specifically, anything inhabited by, say, a colony of microscopic self-replicating constructs?
Cursed armor? What kind of cursed armor?
The kind that is inhabited by a small colony of microscopic self-replicating constructs?
Wait, are you the basis for Merlin?
For who?
Una?
You brought up the legends of King Arthur. In the legends, there is a wizard who works in his court called Merlin.
Oh, no. That was my brother.
Oh. So you're Mordred?
I don't like to talk about this.
Okay.
Anyways, self-replicating armor. Not that I know of, but there is a lot.
It looks like tiny little bugs that cover the body and form into armor.
There is a lot
Almost
out there.
like nanobot technology, almost.
Have you seen this armor yourself?
Yes.
Yes.
It goes by the name Cybrax.
Now that does sound familiar. Give me a moment.
I'm sorry, you should have led with that.
And he starts browsing a shelf.
I am gonna go right up to the table and start looking at the books and seeing what he has while he's doing that.
He walks through a door and disappears. There is a lot of books on the table, most of them relating to magic of some sort.
Any beginners books amongst them?
There are a couple.
I'd like to pick one up and start like flipping through it and seeing what it takes. Not that I don't think that I would have the ability. I'm just very curious.
Are you not a wizard?
Not to my knowledge.
Oh, I simply thought since the, demonic pact, long life, magic powers, attitude.
I appreciate it. That's a great compliment.
It was mostly meant as one.
Yeah. I mean, you thinking that my knowledge is vast enough that I could be a wizard, that's a good compliment.
You're largely defined by travel.
The books are mostly just about like very easy beginner level spells. They don't really have anything.
Can I try them?
Sure. Tell me what you think a beginner level spell is and what you want to try.
Well, I'm just thinking something literally the easiest level of spell casting. Like, use a prestidigit, like looking for something that's like a prestidigitation cleaning type spell, just to see if I can make it work across the table.
Okay.
I think like it only lets the spell prestidigitation in the D&D setting only lets you clean off like a square foot at a time, and that's what I'm imagining.
So you attempt this spell. And instead of cleaning some of the table, it activates your regular move, arrive unexpectedly at the last possible moment. In the other room, Harlock is pulling a book off the shelf.
Mm-hmm.
You appear beside him as he's doing so.
Oh,
I think
hey.
while you're gone, Princess Requiem is quickly taking some pictures of some of these books.
Yeah.
Because I just remembered I also have a regular move that may interact with this for later. Just placing that gun there for Chekhov to come pick up.
Did you bring me in here? Or was that me holding this book that brought me in here?
I didn't bring in here. Did you try to do magic?
I tried. I don't think it worked right.
You really shouldn't try magic without proper training. It can be dangerous. Luckily for you, you did at least pick a beginner level spellbook. The backfire on those are lesser.
Am I gonna have like stomach cramps or something? Because that would suck.
No, you shouldn't.
Alright. Here you go. Hand him the book.
Thank you. And I found what I was looking for.
Yeah? What'd you
Yes.
find?
It is a book on more of a, actually, well, technically it is a journal from 1868, London.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe, if I remember right, it has the first appearance of cyborgs that I know of, at least on Earth.
Oh, yeah? I don't think we've been there yet. Maybe we should... Do you mind if I take that so I can look at it and figure it out?
Well, let's bring it back to your group, and we will
Yeah.
take a look at it in the main room.
Sounds good.
So you go back into the main room, and Harlock opens this journal and flips through to the page that he's looking for, and he goes, here we go. Cybrax, the Great Machine. Details a strange, large machine that appeared in London, and began a sort of conversion process. Seems to have been attempting to turn people into machines for its own uses.
Now, there being a surviving record of this and a current world as we know it, I'm guessing this was thwarted somehow.
Yes, the Millennium Knights of the time. This journal is the journal of one Jacob Alexander Harrow. He was the leading member of a team at the time. and they defeated it. They said that it was easier than they thought it should have been. They managed to locate and destroy the machine's power source. This version of Cyberx seemed ill-equipped to be able to defend itself, but Haru's theory here is listed as he believed that this one was an exploratory machine meant to begin the process.
Time probe. Well, it's a good thing information travels both ways. I think we could learn an awful lot from this.
Yeah, I think that we should definitely check this out after we help Amara and Goldie.
We could somehow get a sample of the base material that Cyberx is constructed out of.
Exactly. That was my thought. Like, I would love to be able to go back there and take a look at that machine.
I suppose first things
time
first.
travel. I love time
Insofar
travel.
as this.
It's not
Yeah.
weird at all.
Greatest kind of magic there is.
Time travel rules.
Like, you wouldn't believe how much direct action I've been able to do helping people traveling through time.
Well, that is very good, and I'm glad to hear it. And then at the center of the table is a crystal ball, and it glows and then projects an image. Ooh, it seems your monster is back. Perhaps you should go.
Yeah. We should.
I
Hey,
think Princess Raccoon Jackson happiness. I knew that.
Goldie, Amara, you still want in on this?
Oh,
I have
yes.
exact coordinates if you'd like.
Awesome. Can
Let's,
you get us there?
Oh, yes, we can just go back through the door we came in.
Awesome. I run through the door first without thinking about it.
When you get out of the castle, back into the picturesque fantasy setting, Tex Rex is there, and he gives a wave. Howdy, folks. You'll need a couple of guns on your side for this one. And you can see he has like 6-shooter style blasters.
I would love to have your help. You look like you're very strong.
This is the coolest thing that's ever happened to me.
Are those
Hell yeah.
revolvers? They're like the katanas of handguns.
Oh my god. Please, no.
I'd be honored to help.
They're objects of power. I believe they gain effectiveness from their sheer cool factor.
That is what I am told, yes.
All right, well,
Much
yeah.
like the venerable rapier.
You definitely seem like you know how to handle those weapons, so we would be glad to have your assistance. Are you a knight as well?
Oh, no. I'm just, sort of a ranch hand here helping around. But, he taps his blaster, but I do know what I'm doing.
All right. Cool. Runs through
Well,
the
if
door.
you know your way around an artifact of arcane power, then your help would surely be appreciated.
All right. You head back through the door. And now Statuesque is back, is wandering up and down the street, attempting to find Amara. And you when Amara comes through the door, it like locks on to Amara. It is now also accompanied by several time mites.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as Tex Rex sees the time mites, and he goes, "Oh, well, y'all take the big lady. I got them," and he just starts taking them out.
Nice. All right.
Can I do something here?
Yeah.
Feel free.
Because there's take action, leaving yourself vulnerable, and I think Princess Requiem just sort of wanders in, takes out a little detonator, and says, "I had been waiting for this," and then just presses it with one thumb, and then the tracker explodes. That's
And
okay. But she like planted a bug on this thing earlier.
yeah, and you wanted to do which move?
I feel like that is like leave action or take action, leaving yourself vulnerable, because it is, giving up our ability to track this monster after this fight. But
Okay, yeah, that makes
for
sense.
a strong opening.
It stumbled forward, confused, and then for the first time speaks slowly. "What did you do to me?"
See. You speak.
Yes.
Well, I caused an explosion on your chest. I was rather hoping it would do the job, but we have to do it ourselves, then so be it. Unless, of course, you choose to surrender.
No surrender. Must acquire target. And then
I don't
begins
suppose you have
walking
any
towards
intention of
Amara.
telling us what that is.
It's walking towards Amara.
Oh, well, that helps. And yeah, Prince Requiem's gonna transform and take off.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
I'm just gonna go ahead and run forward and like try to hold it back.
It's Chrono Mask, clock in, Golden Age.
Yeah.
Etc.
I'm just gonna run forward and display superordinary fighting technique, just trying to like keep it on its back foot, so to speak, so it can't approach too close to Amara.
Okay. This is a little harder to do because of its size, but it is something that you can do with a lot of effort.
Yeah.
What does Liz do?
Okay. Remind me again real quick of what Isla's doing.
Just basically trying to hold it back by like staying active and moving and like attacking its legs and stuff, since it's so tall. That way it has a harder time reaching Amara.
Okay, I am going to boost your morale as I'm running towards the fight and yelling, "You got him! It's just like Empire Strikes Back."
Ooh.
That's a good call.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Feel free.
I would like to oh, good point. And like catch up to you and cast a spotlight on you by handing you one end of that rope you handed me all the way at the start.
Yeah,
And,
definitely.
Taking off to the other side of the street.
Definitely. I will totally like. How big and bulky is this thing? Is it moving normally, or is it like?
I am assuming that Liz has showed at least Princess Requiem, at least one Star Wars movie, at least 3 times.
I think that's a fair assessment. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So she does know what you just said.
Yeah.
So it's not well, it is obviously a bit big and bulky, but it also moves stiffly.
All right, cool. Then yes, I am going to run around its legs and get the rope bunched up as much as I can, pulling it tighter with each run around it. That way it has a impossible time walking unless it just breaks the rope because it's so strong.
Yeah, it is strong. It is hard to hold it together. But I think this does work mostly because you get it tied up real good and you're holding the rope, and then Goldie takes their morpher and transforms it into a sword, and then uses the sword to finish knocking over Statuesque.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and I think she like Requiem like gives you a little thumbs up and says, "May the power be by your side." Or yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's right.
Yeah. How do we finish this thing off? Any ideas?
How about a combo technique?
It's
All
been a while.
6 of us.
Ooh.
Oh, that could work.
Yeah, I think like Princess Requiem like bijous her light rapier, and I concur.
Chrono Mask. Time knife. Like literally unsheathing a saber out of thin air.
And then Mara goes, let's do this quickly before it gets back up. And then switches back to her blue form. So that she's wearing the same, similar armor to Goldie.
Yeah, and I'll yell whatever my part of this is, like clock breaker, golden hour.
I'm gonna yell, "Can I get a hell yeah?" And strike a like the getting ready to box pose with my glowing knuckle dusters.
Nice.
I can smell what you're cooking. It's like,
So you'll slow time and do your combo attack, right? Which is the multiple slashes, correct?
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
go Star Platinum the world.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
then after you finish, Statuesque starts to, fall forward, and Goldie and Amara nod at each other. And then they each take their swords and they slash a sort of rune together in the air that summons a powerful blast of water that finishes off Statuesque, falls to the ground. All sparks and everything, explosions. Texark goes, well, that was mighty fun work. I hope this thing doesn't get any bigger, because it's pretty big as it is.
We let a beat pass by to see if anything happens.
Yeah, legit. Like, just watch it for a second.
Yeah,
Yeah,
everyone
and then
just
it does
freezes and looks
happen.
at it like,
It does happen.
Yeah, and I think
Alright.
she looks at that and goes, oh, as they say, yada yada yada.
Yeah, the bigger they are.
Yes.
So
The bigger shoes they wear.
Not
And if
necessarily.
the shoe fits.
If the shoe fits, the bigger they are.
and I assume y'all want to now summon your mechs.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I call Tempest and have them fold out into their little throne form.
I call my octopus, and it does a cartwheel from the distance. It keeps doing a cartwheel.
I just thought it does a single cartwheel and then just looks around.
No, it's just a continuous cartwheel. It like from the far angle until it arrives, and we jump into the air.
Mecha Stone
Oh.
Cold Steve Austin falls out of the sky and does a superhero landing.
I'm still really enamored by the idea of one of the mechs just doing a single cartwheel and going, hey. Sorry, yes. I know that's not what you meant, but it's a really cute mental image.
It is. It is.
And then we get it cuts to Goldie running alongside a river or something, and out of the river jumps a dolphin mech that she jumps into, and then Amara switches back to Silver and calls in her hawk mech, jumping into that as well. And then Amara.
That's how we know it. We're in older times because it's a dolphin mech and not yet a GameCube mech.
And then Amara says, "We'll provide extra cover if y'all think you can take him down."
I'm confident we can.
I think it would be pretty cool for all of us to combine.
It has been a while. Form up Stone Cold Steve Octodad, biblically accurate version.
God, I've missed this.
So y'all form your ultimate form.
Yeah.
And as you do so, Amara does several swoop attacks on Statuesque. Now, there is one problem. Normally, when you fight with your mech, you are the same size as the other giant thing. But Statuesque was already large. Statuesque still has a little bit of has some size on you still. It's taller and a little bit heavier.
That makes sense.
What does it look like when you try to fight Statuesque?
Ooh. Do either of you have? I feel like, despite being very, flashy in her hand-to-hand form, BR's mech is largely support focused, mostly because that's a moveset that makes sense for something that just doesn't look like a human. So it's a lot of supporting, eye lasers and trying to bind enemies with rings with eyes all over them. And I guess it is currently one of those giant bodhisattva style wheels on the backside or coming out of the shoulders of the Steve Austin. That is probably the part that she forms.
Yeah. And for me, I think that I can do lots of small amounts of damage in a very short amount of time, like many, many hits that deal small amounts of damage. But I think the way where the octo part shines is really trying to constrain the opponent, like trying to hold it. And I think I feel like Stone Cold Steve Austin would have the most destructive power out of the three mechs.
Yeah, the way I was thinking, so Liz's normal hand-to-hand method is a lot faster, a lot more agility, but in the mech, it's just straight up brawler. Just
Yeah.
big punches and
Hey, Liz, how about you stunner this thing?
so the mech is going to have an idea. Can the wings part like add height to like the jumps and stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, also, some of my legs can also help to add height to the jumps.
Yeah, so the legs all push up.
Yeah, and then you do a little double jump with your wings.
Yeah, do the double jump, and then come back down, like so to lunge at it, and the mech is going to try to grab it and slam it down in a stone cold stunner.
Nice.
What is a stone cold stunner?
That is when you kick your opponent in the stomach and then turn around, grab their head, and jump down onto the floor to cause like neck injuries.
Huh.
It's
I can picture each of the individual parts you just described.
yeah.
Yeah, that's essentially
I'm not
all
sure
it is.
how much of the opponent just standing there and waiting around is involved. It sounds quite fun.
Oh, well, you see, the stomach shot disorients them and makes them bend
Right,
forward.
right.
Yeah, just where you need to grab them.
Yeah.
To
So what
Yeah.
you're saying is that like these little rings go behind our enemies, these little like golden rings with eyes on the side of them, and then two tentacles come between them and like clasp into each other, so that we have our own little ring rope that we can set up behind the enemy.
Oh, that's excellent.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about saying the exact same thing. Like, as they go in for the stunner, all of the legs, four on each side, go around and clasp together in the back to hold
And
it.
I'm including portals in that because I also want to take part.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
It works and it doesn't. And you end up right, like you do the move, but it doesn't hurt statuesque as much as you expected it to. And you end up in sort of a brawl with statuesque.
By God, statuesque kicked out.
Yeah. And when the ultimate form gets backed up and is beaten up and there's like sparks inside the cabin and stuff, that is what is happening to you right now. Every heavy-handed blow from statuesque is causing a lot of damage to your ultimate form, and Amara and Goldie are attempting to help, but you're just kind of going back and forth on this. You need a new plan.
Okay, I'm going to doubt myself when taking definitive action and look over at the other two. I imagine this is going on in that split screen sort of thing that you get on TV.
Of course, yeah.
And say, that should have worked. That should have worked, right?
Should have. It should have. I'm going to open up the comms over to Amara and Goldie and be like, hey, this isn't working. Want to join us?
You get answer from both of them. Yeah, copy that. It seems like it's our only option. What? What do you think it looks like when you add a hawk and a dolphin?
I would like to take a moment to take a light turn and either let a secret or side mission take precedent or disappear in the face of danger. Because I feel like during this new morphing sequence, the angelic aspect is gone for a little moment, and I have a plan for later.
Okay.
I honestly, well, if that's the case, if the angelic aspect is gone for a moment, then I would love for us to have wings since this thing towers so high above us.
Okay.
What
Yeah.
do we get from the dolphin? Like a tail?
I mean, I think Stone Cold's head folds inside of its chest, like forward, like its chest opens up and its head flips forward into it and closes back up, and the dolphin's head goes into, like, the dolphin's body goes into the hole, so now it has a dolphin's head.
So I was thinking like it's one of those sort of ill-advised, overly busy mech designs where you just have a dolphin head coming out of the stomach and it can fire off sonic waves.
Yes, perfect. Yes, I like that.
Okay.
I was good at drawing robots. This is awesome.
That's great. All right.
You just hear that one, like it just opens its mouth and you hear that one stock dolphin sound effect and like sonic waves comes out.
The one that's like not even a dolphin.
Probably.
Oh yeah,
I've
the
never
dolphin's
heard a real
mouth
one.
opens and it's like.
Okay. Yeah, and able to use the wings from the hawk, and I'm sure the hawk gives some other powers that it has. And the sonic blast, you're able to change the tide, fighting as one.
I would like to say if at any point it looks like the monster is like taking back the tide, I don't know if it does, because I do have a plan.
Okay, yeah, I want to hear what the plan is.
And that is for the big, like, sort of for Tempest to revert to its big sort of knightly angel form and appear behind statuesque with a giant folding chair.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay, I'll allow it.
And just look Liz dead in the eye over the communicator and yell, "Stone Cold Steve Austin was a heel sometimes." Smack him over the back of the head.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, over the comms. Yeah, I mean, Stone Cold and The Rock operated out of this weird space where they were both simultaneously faces and heels. It was really weird.
I'm gonna yell out, "It's called a tweener!" As I like do some sort of punching thing.
I think the chair sets you up for a move to finish this. So, like, you hit it with the chair, and now's the time to do your ultimate mech attack to destroy this. What does it look like? Do you go for the Stone Cold Stunner again, or do you?
No, that didn't work, so we're trying something else. Instead of falling back on wrestling moves, I would like to have all of the 4 connected mechs so far kind of synergize. So, like the wings produce this big wind that helps knock it over. Like if the chair had already knocked it, then the wings either knock it further or keep it down. The dolphin's head could be just yelling or blasting a sound wave or something, some sort of, like, I don't know. I'm gonna let Isla describe what the tentacles do, but the
Yeah.
Stone Cold is going to grab. Okay, so they're gonna make a fist with both hands, like it's holding something, and just do just swing it up to do a like punch underneath the jaw.
Okay.
Ooh.
And I think that the Octo Arms are going to summon weapons for every connected mech. So they are going to draw out 4 swords simultaneously, holding one for every 2 arms. And as that move goes in, they also jam in 2 into the back and 2 into the sides.
We're General Grievousing this thing.
Heck yeah.
Okay.
All right. And in one big explosion, statuesque comes apart.
PR, great job with that chair.
That was awesome.
That was
I think,
so
like-
cool.
Like BR, comes out of her, steps out of her mech. Says, I don't know what a tweener is.
I'm just picturing like the statuesque falling in the background, the dust coming out, just the really dramatic flourish as you step out, and then saying that.
Yeah. There, her mech turns back into into Tempest, and she rides it to the ground and jumps out of it, and then Tho puts back her rapier. I don't know what a tweener is.
Nice. Oh yeah, like I said, a tweener is essentially just like when you're simultaneously a face and a heel in wrestling. Like very few people do it well, but like the late 90s, early 2000s era was like the tops for that type of wrestler.
Back on the ground, after having defeated statuesque, Amara and Goldie and Tex Rex are waiting for y'all.
Excellent. I'm down. Yeah.
And when you approach, Amara has like a little backpack or something, and pulls out a piece of machinery and says, now that this is over, I thought y'all might want this. This was the thing it was attempting to plant in each of the cities. The other ones got destroyed when we were trying to stop it, but this one seems to still be intact.
Thank you. We'll get this back to our base and analyze what it is. If you ever need help again, don't be afraid to reach out, alright?
Yeah.
You know us, by the way. We work at the arcade.
Oh.
The movie theater and arcade, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me, I gotta finish that mural before I leave town.
You're planning to leave town?
Planning to go home to Planetary City. Now, I took a job here because I was tracking statuesque, but now that that's over, I can go home.
Alright, well, good luck. Good luck taking care of the problems that you have in the future. Like I said, if you need us, feel free to reach out. Here's our communicator code.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And yeah, same to you. If you need help, don't be afraid to call.
I'm glad Thank you.
And then Texric says, it was nice to meet y'all. Thank you for letting me join you on this little adventure.
Nice to meet you, Tex Rex. You have officially made this the coolest day ever.
Yeah, really great meeting a dinosaur who knows their stuff.
Godspeed, Gunslinger.
Tips his hat. And then they all walk back through the door.
Want to take the bus?
How novel.
We may as well get to enjoy the city that we just protected, right?
I suppose there's worse ways to spend an afternoon.
Let's keep our suits on so people can see us. Let them know that there's someone out here looking out for them.
Yeah.
We'll try it.
Yeah. So I think we're gonna ride the bus back to the mall.
Do you ride your bus in your uniforms?
Yeah.
Because
Helmets
Now,
on.
Yeah.
have any of you seen the seminal classic Sam Raimi Spider-Man 2?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent.
Okay.
Yes, I am thinking of the elevator scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. You take the bus back, and our last image for the night, the last thing that we see is the mural completed, and then there's a dramatic timestamp that says 2022. It shows the mural, completed, a little faded by time, with a plaque that says, something like in memoriam of the sacrifices that they have made. It shows 10 or so Millennium Knights. At the forefront is the original group of Millennium Knights that Amara was with, which includes red, purple, white, silver. I think there was green, but I'm not entirely sure on each and every color that was there. But there's a few, and there's a few of the Turbo Jungles. Y'all in the back corner, a couple other random knights. Tex, who only appears here as the... No, he's always silver. Appears here as just a silver knight on their own. And that is where we end tonight.
All right.
All right. Nice. Well, this was a really fun time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
It is nice to be back.
Yeah, it's good to be back. It was a lot of fun. Glad y'all met Tex Rex. Tex Rex was sort of a joke character that I added on after a charity stream told him if we got close enough to 6,000 or something, because we were just right on the catch. I put it in the chat when back on another charity or another channel, and I was like, I will add Tex Rex to the game if y'all make it. He ended up in the game and is sort of one of my favorite somewhat joke characters to throw in the game because it's a lot of fun. So glad y'all got to meet him.
So he was already called Tex Rex?
Yes.
Wow. I was so close.
I mean, it's on the nose. Like, it's on the nose. I like it a lot.
It's hard. It's fun.
It's
I
so
called
much
him
fun.
I called him Rex Max before I heard that name. Like, same hat. It's a cowboy hat.
It was good. It was good hanging out with everybody again. To those who stopped in to watch us play, thank you for joining us again. Now that we are back, we're going to sign out, starting with Princess Raccoon. Where can we find you on the internet?
You can see my ad here at Regular Bear. That's my Twitter. I do voiceover. I also do on and off streaming. I have not felt up to that in a little while. I might return to it. But yeah, I guess I suppose voiceover is the main thing I do. It's not very support my Patreon friendly or whatever because it's very, most of what I do is just auditions, but that is what I do.
Okay, and Isla.
Hey y'all, I'm Crimson. That's Krimsin, because I'm not me without a little bit of sin. You can find me online at crimson_galaxy_RPG or sin_gal, depending on the platform. And tonight I was playing Isla Echo, the Silver Knight. It was super, I enjoyed this game a lot tonight. It was just fucking tops. Where to find me? This Tuesday, I will be joining twitch.tv Fool's Moon, playing a Broken Tales one-shot. On Wednesday, you can catch me back at the twitch.tv/Veldrianth. That's VALDRIANTH for Isekai University, Episode 5. And then Friday, I'll be back here for more Chrono Masks.
All right, and Liz.
Hey, I am Lauren. I have been Liz, the Yellow Ranger tonight. You can find everywhere that I'm at professionally at my website, lwsalinas.com. That's LWSALINAS. There's links to audiobooks that I've done, voice work that I've done, some stuff that I've written. And if you enjoy me talking about wrestling here, then you can see me live tweeting it a couple times a week on my Twitter at Sithwitch, SITHWITCH. And normally on Thursdays, I am podcasting with the Gonna Geek Network. The podcast is called Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. We're a Marvel Cinematic Universe show. I have not been on in a bit. I'm not sure when I will be on again because it's a little hectic right now, but we just finished an episode by episode watch of Moon Knight and are getting ready to get back to our watch through of X-Men the Animated Series.
Awesome. And I am Nerdy Teddy. You can find me here on the channel. It has been a while since I have streamed anything. Sort of ended up on a random hiatus on all my stuff, that an unplanned hiatus on all my stuff, but hopefully Yu-Gi-Oh will be coming back every Monday or every other Monday on the Bardic Nox channel. We will finish out the last couple episodes of this. There are a couple of one-shots that I plan on having later this month. One isn't... It will be later this month, but it is to be decided on the exact date. And the other is going to be, hopefully, 5:30. It's going to be Memorial Day night, playing the Hometown Holiday tabletop RPG, which is a holiday romance movie RPG. Thought it'd be fun to pick a few holidays a year and run that for fun, and so hopefully that will happen. And other than that, you can find me at Nerdy Teddy on Twitter, and you can find me in the Discord. And we are going to raid Bards and Brews tonight, and we will see you next time, everyone. Bye.